Brad Keselowski called it one of the dumbest things he had ever seen on a racetrack, and NASCAR Twitter has been on fire ever since. Here's what happened. On the final lap of the Daytona 500, Keselowski had a massive run coming off, turn 4. Tyler Reddick was out front in the no 45. Chase Elliott was right behind him in second. Keselowski was charging hard on the outside, closing fast. Things were setting up for one of the greatest finishes in Daytona 500 history. Then Riley Herbst happened. Herbst, driving the no 35 for 23:11 racing, was sitting right behind Elliott. He saw his own chance to win the race and made a snap decision: go to the outside, go 3 wide, try to steal the Daytona 500, but he was just a split second too late. Instead of making a clean move, he smashed right into Keselowski at nearly 200 miles per hour. Cars went flying everywhere. Elliott, Logano, and several others got caught up in the wreck. Reddick sailed through, completely untouched, and won the race. Keselowski came out of the infield care center after the crash and did not hold back one single word. He said, "The 35 just wrecked me out of nowhere for no reason. That was one of the dumbest things I have ever seen. He had no chance of blocking my run. I had a huge run, the 35 just wrecked us and himself. Pretty stupid." He kept going. To block from the very bottom all the way to the top and wreck yourself and everybody else is just stupid. Very, very stupid. Tore up the 9, tore up the 22, a bunch of cars that didn't deserve to be wrecked. Herbst heard all of it and pushed back. He told Fox Sports, "I went to pop 3 wide to make it a photo finish, and it must have been a matter of inches. We're trying to win the Daytona 500. It's fractions of a second. I wasn't trying to make a move to go to second." Jeff Gluck from The Athletic raised the big question everybody was thinking: would Keselowski have actually won if Herbst had stayed out of the way? He said on his podcast, "I think Keselowski might have won that race. He and Reddick would have sucked the air off of each other while Keselowski came on the outside, and I think he had a push too." Keselowski himself felt the same way. He believed that run was real and that the win was genuinely within reach. But not everyone felt sorry for Keselowski. Freddie Kraft, a spotter for 2311's other car, fired back on his own podcast. He said, "Yes, Riley made a bad block trying to win the Daytona 500. But for Brad to say that you guys have torn up more stuff at these races pushing and blocking than anybody else?" Tommy Baldwin, a competition director at Rickware Racing, backed Kraft up completely. He said, "I love Brad Keselowski, but how many cars has he wrecked on superspeedways? I mean, come on." The point both men were making was simple. Keselowski has a long history of aggressive moves on superspeedways himself, so the outrage felt a little rich to people inside the garage. Then 2311 co-owner Denny Hamlin jumped in on his podcast and defended Herbst by claiming Keselowski was never even going to reach the front. He said, "The number 6 was not getting there. We are living in fairy tale land if people think the number 6 was going to get there." Even Hamlin's own co-host Jared Allen pushed back on that immediately. Fans online were not buying it either. One person wrote, "This is definitely one of his worst takes. He's just coping." He wants to believe Reddick would have won either way when that definitely isn't objectively true. Another simply said, "Denny's got a Denny." NASCAR reviewed everything and handed out 0 penalties for the Daytona 500. The wreck was ruled a racing incident. Hard to call it anything else when everyone involved was going for the win at 200 miles per hour with nothing left to lose. Keselowski finished 5th, Herbst finished 8th. And the debate over who was right, Keselowski, Herbst, or nobody at all, is still going strong.